Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. I am very excited to share with you this update. I have quite a good one. Not my best so far this year, but I'm definitely happy with the progress in this past month. If you haven't been following along, this year I am doing the prompt list from Makeup by Laney. I think it's Makeup by Laney or Makeup with Laney. I'm following her prompt list. She will be linked down below, as well as the prompt list. And basically what that is just she created a list of different prompts, like for example I have an orange matte, an orange shimmer. You can do an eyeshadow starting with S. You can do an eyeshadow from your least favorite palette. Loads of different prompts, and you choose your eyeshadows from that rather than randomizing them. And I really been loving doing this kind of project this year. I love this version of this project because it means that I can kind of, even though there are prompt-based eyeshadows or prompt-based eyeshadows, and I have to select them by following the prompts, I still feel like I have been able to reach for eyeshadows that I want to reach for more rather than just completely random ones. So I'm really enjoying it so far. But I'm gonna jump into my progress. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So as always, I'm going to start with eyeshadows that has been in the longest, and all of these apart from one has been in for 2 months now, so I'm just going to go in the order of my list. The first eyeshadow that we have is the eyeshadow Cinnamon Sugar from Terra Moons. Like I said, this has been in for 2 months now, and this is what it looked like last month. I'm going to switch to the side. I had used it 10 times at that point. You can see I had a really good dip going in this eyeshadow, and this is what it looks like now. So hopefully you can see there that I actually do have pan in this eyeshadow, or you can see it glimmer right there, I think. There's only took me 2 additional uses to it pan, so only 12 uses, which is really surprising to me because single eyeshadows like this are usually quite deep, and this one was 2. I would say that maybe the eyeshadow wasn't filled up all the way to the edge, as you might be able to see there, so maybe that's why I hit pan a bit quicker. But yeah, 12 uses to pan on this one. I'm really excited to have pan on this, both because it's another eyeshadow pan in my collection. It also means I can roll something else in this project, and also I have some more use and love in my indie singles because I tend to neglect them, especially when it comes to like creating big dips and pans, because I want to cherish them. But this one I do have a dupe of as well from Sydney Grace, so I wanted to get use out of one of them, so I'm very happy to have pan on this one now. And yeah, that is the first eyeshadow, and I will be replacing that at the end. And I didn't say it before, but that eyeshadow I rolled in for something you want to pan. The next eyeshadow comes from my NYC palette from Anastasia, and this one actually also rolled in for something you want to pan, and that was the shade Cupcake, which looked like this at the last update. I'd only used it twice at the last update, so not too much. Yeah, I did really want to step up my usage game on this eyeshadow this next month, and I have used it 5 additional times. And as you can see right there, I was able to hit pan after 7 total uses. Yeah, you can see it there. Again, this palette is starting to look very loved. I really love to see so many pans in a palette, and especially because it is actually pan in most of my favorite shades in here. Obviously Reezy probably isn't my favorite shade, but at least this palette is starting to like kind of correlate to my love for it, because again most of my favorite shades in here have pan. I only have pan on the shimmers though, so I should be able to kind of maybe focus on the matte sometime this year and hit pan on maybe 1 or 2 of those. I do have quite a big dip in 1988, I think it is, yeah, because I had this in my pan eyeshadows last year and I used it 15 times. But this eyeshadow will be rolling out as well, and I was choosing a new prompt to replace it. Next up we have an eyeshadow from my Book of Magic palette, and I have actually been working on this palette quite a lot this year, and the eyeshadow that I rolled in most recent is Amulet, which looks like this. I rolled this one in for something from your least favorite palette because this is my least favorite palette in my collection, although I'm growing a bit of an appreciation for it. But yeah, that is what Amulet looked like last month, and I had used it 6 times at that point. I've reached for this 8 additional times, and this is where it is today. So as you can see, I do have another pan in this palette and in this eyeshadow, and I'm very excited. Again, this eyeshadow palette is starting to look a bit more loved. Yeah, I have hit 3 more pans this year, which is Amulet, Enchanted and Sorcery, and I think I'm going to try to continue hitting pan in this palette because I want to get some more use out of it. But I'm not sure if I'll roll this one in straight away now, because I have used this so much in the past year, or in the past couple of months rather. So we'll see how I do, but it depends on the prompts I get I guess, but for now I think I'm going to put this palette away. So the last two prompts are kind of the different version of the same prompt. We have an orange shimmer and an orange matte. The orange shimmer I rolled in 2 months ago as well, and that was the shade Electric Orange from the Pastel Roses, which looked like this at the last update. I had only used it twice last time, and I have reached for it 3 additional times, and this is what the palette looks like now, or sorry, the eyeshadow looks like now. So you can see that there is a little bit of a dip, especially like right here. I try to always focus in the middle, but for some reason there's a little bit of a like hard pan in the middle, and I've just been picking up more product in that area, so that's kind of where I naturally gone. I'm actually wearing this one as a highlighter today. I'm not sure if you can pick it up. Today's the first time wearing it that way, but I have used it twice on the eyes as well. I don't know if I said already, but I have 3 additional uses on it for a total of 5. So I use it once as a highlighter and twice on my eyes, and I actually do quite like it as a highlighter. It does definitely work as that, because it's an eyeshadow that I find harder to reach for on my eyes than I thought I would, because it's a beautiful kind of, I don't know, orange to pinkish reddish duochrome, but it's more kind of satiny, or it's not as metallic or sparkly as I would want it to be, and I think that's why I don't reach for it too much. I also haven't been going for full orange looks that much this past month because of what else I've been planning in different projects, but I'm gonna try to reach for more orange looks next month and hopefully get this one out. I do have 15 more uses or pan on this one, because I haven't covered my rules, but again, so if you're new to this project, my rules are 20 uses or hitting pan. I haven't really decided if I want to do vetoes this year. So far I'm not planning to, but we'll see how I go throughout the year. Who knows, maybe if this one stays in for another month with just 2 or 3 uses, I might veto it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is the next shadow. Not too happy with the progress on this one, but at least I've been using it more than I had the previous month. And I just realized I've been forgetting to do swatches, so I'll do them at the end when I'll show you all eyeshadows, and I'll show you the swatches of my old core story and what is staying in. But like I said, the last eyeshadow is for an orange matte, and I rolled in an eyeshadow from my Sweet Talk palette from Colourpop. And like I said, this one I rolled in last month. It's the only eyeshadow that I rolled in last month. And the eyeshadow that I rolled in is the shade ICYMI, which I think stands for In Case You Missed It. And this one is like kind of, I don't know, terracotta kind of orangey shadow, and I have used this one 4 times, and hopefully you can see there, this packaging is super reflective, but hopefully you can see there that I do have a little baby tiny dip in here. It's not that significant at all. It's only 4 uses, so it's quite a long way to go with this one, but at least I can tell that I have used it. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera. I'm hoping maybe a little bit, or that you can see it in the picture, but yeah, that is eyeshadow, and again, it's quite a long way to go with this one, so it will also be staying in the project. So like I said, here are the swatches of the last color stories. So we have Cinnamon Sugar, Cupcake, Amulet, Electric Orange, and ICYMI. So that's the color story of my last eyeshadows that I was working on, and these 2 are staying in. So up top here you have Electric Orange. It's so hard to capture it on camera. I don't know if you can't really see the shapes, can you? It's like a pink or like a reddish, yeah, reddish pink to a gold orange shift. It's actually quite stunning, especially when I swatch it out. I'm just like, oh, that's so pretty, I should use it more. But as you can see, the base is probably quite similar to my skin tone, which is why it's also working quite well as a highlighter. But yeah, that is that shadow there, and then you have that orange matte below it. So those 2 are the colors that I'm staying in, and these top 3 are rolling out. So I feel like with this I can go quite a new direction with my color story, because I had a lot of mauve tones and kind of, yeah, you can see these top ones here, and I feel like with these 2 I can go completely different direction, but we'll see what I roll in. So let me open up my my Tiny Decisions app and go to Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I have all my prompts right here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll. As you can see, some prompts have been blacked out, and those are the ones that I've already had. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick the first prompt, and I'm going to have 3 new ones. And the first one is going to be a shadow that starts with B. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and then we're going to roll again, which we're going to get partner pick. That's difficult because my partner is sleeping at the moment. He is not awake. I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to re-roll for this one. because he's not awake yet. I guess what I could do is I could insert a photo of what he picks, or come back later and insert that footage. Let me think about that. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it in general because I'm not gonna wake him up, because I'm filming before work. It's like 7 AM and he's sleeping, so yeah, I'm not gonna wake him up to let him pick. But anyway, I'm gonna keep picking and we'll see what I get instead. So we get the next one, which is a shadow starts with I. Fair enough. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put that one bit back in. Yeah, so I used removed the black of the partner pick, and I'm gonna re-roll because I don't think I'm gonna get a chance to film, because we're actually going away this weekend. I'm filming just before Easter weekend. It should go up on Sunday, I believe. I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's going up soon, and I'm actually away for a wedding when this is when this weekend when this is going up. So I don't really think I have a chance to film later to show you his pick. So I'm gonna re-roll for that one, but I have deselected it so it can be rolled again at a later time. So let me just roll the last prompt. And we get a shadow starting in Q. Okay, so we only have shadow starting with different letters. That's like going to be the prompts that we're going to pick. So we have a shadow starting with B, we have a shadow starting with I, and lastly a shadow starting with Q. So I'm going to have a look at what eyeshadows I have and pick those out, and I will be right back. So I'm back and I'm very excited about the new color story. I'm gonna give you a peek of the color story. We'll talk through each shadow, but you can see it right there. Yeah, very happy with the 3 new roll-ins. I think this palette and this color story in general will go really nicely together in like a look. Yeah, I'm just very excited about it. And I'm gonna through each shade in order. So let's start with the eyeshadow starting with B. And that actually comes from a different Beauty Bay palette. It's the one that I want to focus on more this year, which I have mentioned before. I actually worked on this eyeshadow palette for different shade earlier this year. But I am rolling in my Lovelies palette from Beauty Bay, and the eyeshadow that I'm rolling in is the shade Bellini right here. I actually didn't have that many eyeshadows starting with B. No, wait. It was I that I was having not that many with. But with B, I decided to roll this one in. It's an absolutely stunning eyeshadow. I don't even know if I've used this one, but yeah, I want to get some more use out of it. I do have 2 pans in here so far, but the rest of the shadows look quite untouched. So I want to roll in a different one, and this one I think is going to work perfectly because again it starts with B and it's a beautiful shimmer that I can use on an everyday basis. You can see it right there. It's very reflective, very kind of pretty, kind of peachy. Yeah, very stunning, and I really am excited to reach for that one. The next eyeshadow is the one starting with I, and this is the one that I had quite a hard time finding something because I actually had less eyeshadow starting with I than I thought. But I decided to go for something from my Through My Eyes palette from Colourpop. Another Colourpop eyeshadow, and it's another Colourpop matte. So the eyeshadow that I rolled in is the shadow in A Wink, which is this one here. As you might be able to tell, I already have a little bit of a dip in this one, and it's more of a... It looks maybe like a setting shade in the palette, but it's a little bit deeper than that, at least for me. It does have a little bit more peachiness to it, which you can see there. So I think it's going to be a really nice blending out shade, or like a first transition shadow, and I think it's going to work really well with the rest of the color palette. Also, I haven't mentioned before either, but I do have a rule when it comes to rolling eyeshadows, and I want to have at least 2 mattes at any point in time, because I don't want to be too inclined to reach for shimmers, because I know that I would be otherwise. So 2 mattes at any point in time, which is also why it's good to roll this one in, because then I have 2 mattes again. And yeah, hopefully it won't take me too long to hit pan on this one, because again I already have a dip in it, and also because it is one that I think I can reach for quite regularly. So lastly, we have an eyeshadow starting with Q, and as you can imagine, it was quite hard finding something starting with Q. I didn't have that many eyeshadows at all, and I already had pan on quite a few of them. Not all of them obviously, but a few of them I had pans on. Some of them I didn't want to pan, like for example I think I had 2 multichromes from Cleona, which I don't feel really ready to pull into project yet, or at least not this project. But I did find something from one of my favorite palettes in my collection, which is my Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, and the eyeshadow I decided to roll in, which is the only eyeshadow that I really could roll in from this palette, is the first one in there, which is Shadow Quartz, and that is this eyeshadow right here. It probably isn't the eyeshadow that I would decide to go with from this palette to pan first, but I do want to get more use out of this palette, and it's one that I've been thinking about rolling into projects like this to pan on, because it is looking very brand new still. Like, you can tell that I've used it, but it doesn't look as loved as it should be in my collection, because again, it's one of my favorite palettes. And this eyeshadow is more of a kind of satiny one. It's not too metallic, but it's there at the bottom, and I think in general that will go really well with the color story. It goes super well with the shade Bellini. I think I could use this one as a base and then just tap Bellini on top, for example, or I can pair it with other sparkly eyeshadows if I wanted that effect. I can top it with like more kind of sheer indie eyeshadows, and I think that's gonna make it go quite quickly. So honestly, I think the bottom shadows together are stunning. I think I can create like a really soft, a very soft kind of spring tone look with those three if I want to. And if I want to like jazz it up, I can add at least this one here and maybe even the top one as well, for some more kind of exciting effect, and I can definitely do looks with all of these together. So those are my new eyeshadows in my project. I'm very excited to roll these in. Before I wrap up the video, I had a request recently in my, I think it was my eyeshadow usage, what was it, which video was it, let me check quickly. It was my, yeah, eyeshadow wrap up Q1 using all my eyeshadows, because I'm trying to use all my eyeshadows this year, and I talked about stats and things in there, and someone asked me to talk about my pan percentage, so I thought that would be good to do in this project. I haven't really done that for the last couple of years because I haven't been too focused on pan percentages recently, because I am more focused on using my collection as a whole as well as just hitting pan, because if you otherwise before I was so obsessed with keeping palettes with loads of pan in it because I was worried about the pan percentage going down. But I'm still going to discuss it, and I think every quarter would be a good kind of point to talk about it. And since we are just entering quarter 2, I'm going to talk about my pan percentage today. So at the start of the year I had 136 pans in my collection, and at the beginning of the year I had a total of 1029 eyeshadows. So if you do some quick maths, that gives me a pan percentage of 13.22%. So yeah, 13.22% at the beginning of the year, which is pretty good. I am happy with that. I would say when it comes to goals, I have an unofficial goal to hitting 20% pans this year, and I think if I should do so, I would need to hit like 70 pans, so maybe something like that. I can't remember exactly. Which maybe like 65, I can't remember, but it's somewhere around there, and I might be able to do it. But yeah, at this point in time, that is my goal, so we'll see how I do throughout the year. It's not an like official goal, like I said, it's just kind of like something I have at the back of my mind, and that would be really nice. So entering today, or like rather at the end of Q1, I had 156 pans in my collection at that point in time, which out of my total eyeshadows, which was 1030 actually, so I did enter one eyeshadow in my collection. I am on an eyeshadow no buy this year, so I don't think it's going to increase much from now on, but I did buy like one very limited edition eyeshadow from Cleona. It was like the last chance to get this one, and it was only one shadow, so that was an exception I made. You can see it all in my beauty budget if you want to know more about it. But yeah, it did go up by one number, so 156 pans out of 1030 eyeshadows gives me at the end of Q1 a pan percentage of 15.15%. So it has increased by almost 2%. It was 13.22% at the beginning of the year, and it was 15.15% at the end of Q1. So I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I have 5% left to hit my goal, and if I keep up with the amount of pans I've been hitting, I should be able to reach that, unless I acquire a lot of new eyeshadows, which isn't my plan because again I am on an eyeshadow no buy. If you look at my current pans, just FYI, because obviously we are a few days into April, I'm filming this on the 6th. So currently I'm actually having 158 eyeshadows in my pans in my collection, so I hit 2 more pans since end of Q1. and that gives me a pen percentage of 15.34, so a little bit higher, but that is my current pen percentage. And I think the next time I'm going to update this is at the end of Q2, just to keep you updated. I'm not going to cover it in every single update because I feel like that would be repetitive, and I think it's nicer to look at like the overview of like quarterly jumps, because sometimes you have an off month, sometimes you have a really good month, and I think it kind of just give a better average if you do it every couple months. So that is my pen percentage, and that is also it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're doing Pan Those Eyeshadows, let me know down below. If you posted it on YouTube, I have with like a 99% certainty watched your video, because I watch every single Pan Those Eyeshadows on YouTube basically. So I follow it there. On Instagram I see a couple posts here and there, but if you're doing it there or if you're just doing it by yourself, let me know. It would be fun to know how you're doing. And otherwise, I really hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys!